Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to quickly talk about sort of where the rubber hits the road once you have your grant or funding secured. CRS has many locations throughout UCSF to actually help you get your research data collected. So although we have clinical in our name, we also support behavioral research as well. We have several sites, one here at Mission Bay for pediatrics, Zuckerberg, San Francisco General, Parnassus, and the VA, and soon another site here on Mission Bay with the Cancer Center. So we have... I will be the one not to advance these. There we go. We support investigators by providing space, nursing services, phlebotomy, and also sample processing. We do have exercise physiology core that is well used up on Parnassus as well. So just like IRB and some of the things you've heard earlier this morning, research is heavily regulated. My locations are sitting inside of medical licensed space, so there are rules of engagement in using that space. One, we have to know what it is you want us to do. Although you've had it approved by the IRB before you come to me, it still has to meet standards that are JCO specific. So a lot of time the investigators will say, well, I have a study coordinator who can do a blood draw or do this measurement. When you're in licensed space and I'm subject to have the state walk in anytime, you really have to let the professionals do what they're best at in those spaces. So we do have a small recharge, but because the volume is so high for our services, the amount that the investigator pays is really, really small. To have a nurse, a licensed nurse supporting you, it's really important. So we do study startup meetings to make sure your protocol, one, is really thorough and thinking through what you're doing to the participant. Sometimes our nursing or my scientific committee will suggest things to you that maybe you just didn't think of to make this process just a little easier for the participant. And since these are volunteers, right, healthy or not, it's important that we are treating them with the best possible care when they're here at UCSF, because we want them to continue to volunteer to help us answer our questions. So we have a lot of questions about, well, can I just do this in my office? Can I do it in my cubicle at Mission Bay? And what I would say is no. We really want our patients and volunteers here at UCSF to feel supported, and sometimes they have health questions that maybe they're not going to feel comfortable asking their own provider, but they're in a facility where there's research nurses or others that they can ask questions of. We don't want them to feel like we're sneaking them around or just taking data from them, but we're treating them as an equal partner in our research endeavors. So here's the list of services that we offer in our clinical spaces, and really my nurses are top-notch. They know a lot, and they're willing to go the extra mile. They reach out to the faculty often to say, hey, I saw your participant today, and I think there are other things going on. You're not going to get that kind of feedback in a clinical way from a study coordinator, and you want someone who's paying attention to maybe some possible adverse events that you aren't expecting with your protocol. So again, it's important to have the professionals in this process with you. So there are a few things that we do require to get started. We do require that we have a chance to look at your protocol, even though it's rough. We also have a scientific committee for mostly industry trials, just to make sure, again, that we're treating our participants as well as we possibly can. And then we have study startup meetings to go over with the clinical staff, your MD orders, or even if you're using space, to tell us what your patient population is like, if they need any extra support. Okay, so here's our contact information. Although this is a little blurred, I'm sure we can get this fixed for you. And here is our email and websites that you can get more information and download applications. Thank you very much.